welcome to the Two Dudes Talk Music YouTube channel. I am the Reverend Raff.
We did it, we made it.
Because when a band's name starts being everywhere, it can be very easy to go like, okay, like.
It's because I know what it's like to feel left out and to feel like people are weird or mean to you, and so I never want to be that person, and I want...
This here is my good friend Kyle, aka the BeerBuddy.
Big opportunity. You guys must be stoked you're on the first day too, because you can just sort of shoot. Yeah, you can just relax.
Brian was sitting down with his longtime friend and his former bandmate Meegs from Cold Chamber, and they were having coffee, and Brian was...
When those questions go, those hearty chuckles.
You know what that laughter says to me is like, people don't even know what's coming. People just are gonna be minds are gonna be blown by that.
No, it will be a fucking banger.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Two Dudes Talk Music YouTube channel. I am Reverend Raff. He is the BeerBuddy Kyle. He's on that side, fucking man. And we are the Two Dudes Two Talk Music. And welcome to the Two Dudes Talk Music podcast, the number one podcast in the world featuring two dudes named Raff and BeerBuddy.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. I don't think there's much chance of there being another one out there. If there is,
no, we'll fight them.
If there is, we'll fight them. We'll have to. There can be only one. Like yes. What's the movie fucking series? Highlander. Yeah, there can be only. Where you go. I should know that. Yeah. All the fucking times I've listened to not another sequel, just another prequel sing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got another banging podcast episode for you guys today.
Yeah,
but before we dive into that, my friend, how have you been?
I am good. I cannot wait to get this fucking surgery out of the way so I can just get back to some sort of normality. I'm stinging. Yeah, but I got out to a show last Friday. I got to go see the boys from Fist, which was awesome. Caught a couple of really cool indie bands out on Friday night out at the Mosh Pit over at Newtown. It was my first time there too. It's kind of got this Elton Chongy kind of vibe, but it's a bit more open. Only slightly, only by a couple of feet, but it's just got a great vibe to it. Fist were awesome. Yeah, it was just good. It was great to get out. Yeah. What about you, my friend? You've had a bit of wild weather up your way and all that.
Yeah. Look, it's just typical summer weather north of Brisbane, like subtropical, freaking pissing down rain like it's no tomorrow, and then it goes away, and then the lawn grows about a foot in an hour, and then you be sunny for 2 hours, and then it'll be pissing down rain again, and then the power's going out and coming back on 7 hours into the night, and all the fucking fun stuff, all the bullshit. But hey, I got got a cool new T-shirt today that I've worn for today's
looking at
thing.
that, man.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice. You may recognize the image. You may recognize the image. Got that one from Punk with a Camera. So I might pop a link down in the old description if people are interested.
That's nice.
I got another really, really nice one that says Nazi lives don't matter. So it's not. They got some cool shit there. They got some cool shit. So you might want to go and.
I like.
Yeah. They're US based, I believe. They sort of screen print everything by hand, and they don't have like a factory or anything with it. So
that's a really nice shirt.
They're a small company. Yeah, it's very light.
Really good on it.
It's very light. Like the material's quite light, so it's very kind of breezy there. This sizing's pretty typical American style sizing. So but it's really really good. Like the exchange rate fucking kills, but so doing that, just been had a bit of a jam last night with one of the newer bands I'm involved with. So I can't say too much just yet, but we kind of went into it and we're like, all right, we want to try and write something. We wanted to try and go in and go, let's just try and write something from scratch. And there was a bit of an idea there that we were playing around with and developed it and evolved it, and we kind of by the end of a few hours we had a bit of a song there, so that was quite cool.
Everyone was vibing.
Everyone
was working really well together and
vibing, having lots of fun with it. It's just finding the rhythm. I think for this project is the thing.
How is
that's
it
the name of the
with
game.
Fresh faces.
Yeah, good. Good. It's yeah, like I said, it's just finding the groove with everyone. But once things started flowing, it was really good, and it was like, all right, well, you're doing that. What if we tweaked what you've done there a little bit like this, and sort of put my producer hat on with stuff, and taking the ideas and massaging them a little bit, tweaking them a little bit, so that we're doing things and thinking, okay, well, you've done that there on the bass, so rather than doing exactly what you're doing, I'll when you go up, I'll go down, or when you go down, I'll go up, and just creating counterpoints inside. So like that's the shit I miss. So it's good to be back in it and getting to fuck around with writing again, which was a lot of fun. So but we're gonna work on it. The plan is not to rush into launching anything. We want to take some time to get a bunch of songs in the bank. Develop the stage look before the relaunch, so
good.
Getting to tweak the visuals a bit, new logo, photo shoot, film clips, all that kind of stuff. We want to have a bunch of stuff in the can, and then
how often do we talk about it on here, man? Never write just so you can fill the set. You always need to have more. You always need to have everything, all your ducks in a row. Don't just write to rush out and play a show, because that's doomed for failure from there.
So, we're just going to take our time with that one and get there. But, like I got to put the new bass to work.
Yeah.
So that's good. The old Fender Gaff bass.
Oh, the Fender, not Fender.
The Fender, not Fender, Mexican Fender that wasn't a real Fender, and but no, that's it's quite nice and it plays really well. And I went through and did a bit of a setup on most of my basses this weekend, so they're all starting to get my new workspace for the guitars all set up, which is good. Got an adjustable height desk for that and everything, which is just really good because that some stuff I need the desk higher, some stuff I work better with the desk lower. Fucking around with intonation and all that good shit. Trying to set up a six string bass with a double truss rod and everything, and just
oh wow. My daughter painted
hectic shit. Oh, very nice, very very nice.
Yeah, she just went ham with the paint during the school holidays and was just like, just go do it, have fun.
Oh, that's nice. But so we are going to dive into today's one. We have Brisbane band Mezmik. They've done a bunch of cool stuff. They're very sort of like symphonic metal, but they got a little bits and flavor from all over the shop. But so with us today, we've got Chris and Jolene. So we're going to dive into that one right now. Thank you very, very much. A big thank you. Big love to Chris and Jolene from Mezmik for joining us today. Are we saying that right? That's how it's pronounced,
yeah? Yep, that's right.
Great. And you guys are, we will have covered this a little bit in the intro there, but you guys are absolutely killing it with like the sort of melodic power metal thing that you guys are doing. Been listening to the album from last year, and look, it's killer. Like the production's great, everything about it. It's songs are really, really good, energizing. Like it's a really, really good piece of work there. But how did the band sort of originally come together? Because it was a little bit just before COVID, right?
Yeah. So it was a COVID baby. So it actually all started during the COVID, or just before. And it was basically just an idea. I was in a cover band with a couple other guys, and Joe I've been in bands for 20 plus years at this point, and Joe sort of said to me, I'd love to be in a band too. And so we went, oh yeah, cool. And we created Mezmik. So this is sort of Joe's baby more than anything else, and it's just taken off. It's been brilliant.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So was it so Jolene, did you like how did you kind of envision the band like early on at the start there? Like what was that you were looking for, and how is that the band has it become what you were hoping for originally? Has that vision like evolved over time?
Yeah. Well, I grew up with, good old Evanescence when I was, a little bit younger. And yeah, I was really inspired by Amy Lee's vocals and the mix of the rock and metal music. And I thought, oh, I really love that. And as time went on, while I was working on building my vocal strength and having lessons and whatnot, I tried doing singing by myself and found it a little bit intimidating. And I was like, I really should look at maybe a band because, you're up there. I've seen so many bands, they all look like they have fun together. And I thought, yeah, that's something what I'd want to do, like up there with other people who are enjoying music that I'm making. So and yeah, it's just sort of, we basically just started out with a simple melody from our album Unlikely Hero, because I play a bit of piano as well, and we just all jammed on that, and it just went from there. And also Chris's powerful ears. He's got a magical ear for putting everything together. So with a lot of his help and everyone else's influence, it's sort of taken on a world of its own, which we also just really love that it's come together so nicely. It was,
It's almost got it's got a real proggy feel to it too. Like it's got so much depth to it.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Like the elements in each song, there's so many. There's so many.
Apparently, it was a complete nightmare to mix.
Well, did you have to mix it?
No, I didn't. No. We didn't actually mix it. We sent it off to somebody else.
That's their problem then. That's what they get paid for. Fuck them.
No.
If it's a nightmare to mix, mate, that's it. That's what you're getting paid for.
We can fit
Worth part.
Sure.
But yeah, we sort of, when we first started, we sort of went, okay, let's go definitely down a more symphonic route.
Yeah.
And it's sort of evolved over time. We've been writing more and more progressive type music, as well as more melodic metal as well. We wanted to mix those two particular parts together, like because we're huge In Flames fans. So
same.
I see you have great taste as well.
Yes.
So we really wanted to try and incorporate some of those things. So we just started mixing all of our different inspirations. So there's new metal influences, there's black metal influences, there's classic hair metal, because I'm a huge Def Leppard fan. So I like to try and incorporate little bits of here and there in there as well. And also just trying to cram in all kinds of movie type effects and symphony, all types of stuff.
Those time signatures, I'm noticing some of those time signatures are a bit chopped on certain parts of the songs. They'd be we love fun to do live.
Yeah, we love to sort of just chuck in those really sometimes not awkward, but different little cuts and time signature changes just into the songs. So it's not completely mind blowing, but it's just like okay, we're doing that now.
Just a little slap in the face, just a tap.
Well, that keeps things interesting, right? Like when you're, for you playing it and for people listening to it, this is something that Kyle and I talk about a fair bit on the channel is a lot of the stuff you guys are incorporating, right? Like one, just touching on when you mentioned we mentioned before, like a lot of elements kind of in those mixes, what we call ear candy, right? Like it's just little things that are hidden away in the back and you don't always catch them at first, but maybe when you go back and listen to it a second or third time, you sort of pick up that there's something there. And the use of, like a little bit of proggy elements playing around with time signatures and things like that, it can catch people's attention again because you can get, it can be easy to get complacent sometimes. And this is the thing, like, and musicians will understand what's happened there, but the layperson won't necessarily recognize why but suddenly there's like this just shift in the vibe and you can be listening and maybe daydreaming a little bit, but then something like that just catches your attention and it can like snap you back to focusing on what's there in the actual song that you're listening to, which is, it's so important, whether it's whether it's going so far as to use lots of unique time signatures, or even if it's literally like, you drop, like for in Skunkbone, for example, grunge band that I was in previously, we had one of our songs, it got to the end and there's like this descending riff in it. And we originally, when the song was brought into the group, it was a 4/4 thing. And I'm like, let's play around with that. And we changed it to be like a 3/4 sort of rope pattern on there. After just at the tail end of it was like a 4/4 3/4 kind of drop thing. So it kind of was like, it just like dropped the beat there, but it ended up coming back around, and it was just a unique way of doing it. And it's like, we didn't play around with time signatures too much, but that one spot was like, oh, that's really cool and fun because it's a little bit different. And like, you could see the first time people saw us play it, we'd get to that part and I'd always be watching for people's reactions, because it's like they're kind of moving along and then all of a sudden where the beat is like changes and they're like, oh, hang on, and they got to it just snaps people back to attention with it. And it's such a great, like, you don't have to do a lot with it to get the result that you want out of it. And I think that's something that a lot of, when people are coming into learning about music and songwriting, it's very, very easy to be, I don't want to say scared necessarily, but it's easy to have trepidation about exploring other time signatures and incorporating them in ways that, because if you're not confident with it, you might think, oh, maybe what if I do it wrong? I don't want to get. It's not that hard to just explore a little bit. You can, and it's just such a great tool, and I love that bands seemingly are getting a lot better with utilizing that sort of stuff these days. So many of the bands that we check out and react to have, they play around with a little bit of funny time signatures and stuff now, and it just makes it that much more exciting from just from a flat out listening perspective, but B, also as musicians that are reacting and critiquing this stuff.
Lockie from Crave is a great example. He really utilizes his odd time signatures and stuff like that. So I think it was one
syncopation as well. That guy, like, he's crazy with it.
Like one of the songs he done with Crave, it's an odd snare hit, and it stands out like tits on a bull in the song. Like, it's such an odd thing, and it stands out so much. And I hit him up about it, and he's like, "No, it's meant to be there, and that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to just be this odd thing." And and he was like, "You're the only one that's actually brought it up. No one's actually." And I'm like, "How can't they?" But it's good when you have things like that, because it creates conversation around it amongst the musicians when they do know.
And I think when you notice it, they're like, people come up and notice it, they're like, they sort of, puts a bit of a feather in your cap. You notice what we're doing? And especially get it on the head, you've got it so, like, you practice it so you guys are so tight, you just like nailed it. It's just, it just brings a whole nother element into it for everybody. And I think even people who aren't used to listening to it are just, they're just like, I like that song. I don't know why. It's just this part here that really grabs me in. So, I mean, it definitely sticks out for when people are, like that. So,
That's a key thing, man. It's like people, whenever I'm playing around with a song or an idea or a mix or whatever, I will, like, yes, I'll send it to musician friends to get that I trust to get some their input, because obviously they've got the knowledge and I value their input on it. But I've got some non-musician friends that I'll send it to as well, and I'll be like, I know you don't have the jargon, but like, just tell me your thoughts in whatever words you can.
What vibe do you get off this?
Exactly. Like, what's the vibe? What parts do you like and don't like? And why do you think that you like them or don't like them? And it's so valuable.
It is.
And the other too, especially when you start really experimenting around and going down that whole proggy type road, it's really a fine line between writing music that everyone can like and writing music that only musicians will like.
Yes.
So, we try and tread that line pretty lightly.
Yeah.
And I think you guys do a good job with that too. Yeah. Like, it's you talk about certain stuff that is clearly written maybe not written for musicians, but you're right. It falls into a category where most non-musicians are just not going to be able to get their heads around it. And, you've got, while they might like a little bit about it or like a song or here or there, like your average, like the layperson, a non-musician is generally not going to be like listening to the whole Dream Theater back catalogue or the whole Omnific catalog or something like that, right? Because they're just some of what those bands are doing is just has such complexity in it that just most of the time people without an understanding of music will just not be able to get their heads around it. And it's not a matter of them not being intelligent people, it's just they don't have the tools for that specific thing.
It's like I can't get my head around why Unprocessed haven't got millions of followers. Like, they are just such a dynamic band, and you go on their socials and they're like just sort of tipping into the hundreds of thousands, and you're like, this band is just beyond anything that's going around at the moment. But I can understand why some people may think it's too much.
Yeah, it's hard to make something for the masses. Like when you can really appreciate something, you look at that and go, that is amazing. Like you can like from a vocalist point of view, there's a band we played with in Bendigo. I feel really bad, I can't remember their name, but there's a band in Bendigo we played with, and I was watching him do his vocals, and I just had to go up to him afterwards and go, you're amazing, because it really struck a chord with me how he was like his technique and his emotion and everything that he put into it. And whereas someone who was maybe not familiar with those techniques wouldn't appreciate it as much. So and you're just thinking, these guys are brilliant, like they
should be a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, and it's sometimes it's the luck of the draw.
It really is the luck of it. Roll the dice. These things are, being in the music industry is 50% luck.
I'm going to look them up now. I feel bad. I love them so much, but I can't remember their name.
Nah, it's always the way. It's always the way.
But I just when you see someone and you just think, man, you're amazing, and they might not think they're amazing, but you just think, nah, you're amazing.
It's almost like when you see those people, when you see the professional musicians critiquing, like a professional opera singer critiques a metal band or metal singers and stuff like that, and and you're like, wow, they get it. They get like it. They see the transfer and they understand it for what they're doing, and they can relate it to their craft as well.
Yeah. Shout out to the charismatic voice. She has a great channel, and I love her analysis of everything, and her dive into like metal and everything has just been like so great to watch her go on that journey and discover these bands that I've been a fan of these bands for ages, and like it's always nice seeing other people discover them in that way and come in, and the relationship she's built with like Will Ramos and everything, and the work that they've done together, the videos they've done together has been really, really good stuff as well. So like she's got a great channel, and I love that as well. Like whether it's opera singers or rappers or whatever, like rappers tend reacting to metal is really cool too, because they often will focus on like the vocal techniques as well as like the rhythmic elements of what's going on with things. And it's and that's one of the reasons that like when we're doing reaction, no, you're right.
Dogs are
trying to edit that bit out.
No. But like that's one of the reasons like that when Kyle and I are doing reactions, like we try and like expand where we are with stuff, right? Like we don't just want to go, okay, like this is popular, so we're going to do a reaction to it. We want to find new and interesting stuff, partly for ourselves and partly for our audience. Yeah, because we want to, explore those territories together. And it's been great. Like some of the best responses we've got on videos has been from things that are a bit outside of our wheelhouse, things that we would normally have come across. So yeah, I mean,
but that's what you want to see though. It's like the last thing you want to see is like you reacting to the normal shit that you listen to every day, and you know that's quite clearly evident in our numbers in the reactions. You know what I mean? It's like it's got to be outside of our sort of westernized country, and it's got to be at least that's got to be like the very bottom line, and then everything after that you're pretty much laughing.
Yeah.
just quickly, I found the band's name, Die in a Dream. They're a band in Bendigo, and
Die in a Dream.
Yeah,
Die in a Dream.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
Die in a Dream.
they are phenomenal. The vocalist just blew me away. I wish I could find his name, but if you guys get a chance, check them out. Die in a Dream.
Yeah.
Okay, Die in a Dream. Okay, yeah. So it's
In
like cool.
Yeah, that I just mesmerized by it all. I was like, yeah, nice guys.
Hectic.
Yeah, mad.
So obviously you've had the album came out last year, and you guys, were kind of dropping some singles from the album in the lead up there. What was your process like? How long was the recording process for that album? And then, what was the because I'm always curious about that process and what challenges you guys might have faced as you were going through that.
So the recording process for the album was pretty much all done in this room except for recording drums. So I ended up recording all the individual members except for our bass player. He did his own recording at his own house.
Very talented man.
Yeah, they did the drum tracking in our rehearsal studio, and so it was all self-recorded, and just a lot of work went into the orchestration, the building up of these things, building up the orchestration and getting everything trying to get sorted. And we ended up having sort of ridiculous amounts of tracks for each song. I think, one song had like 75 tracks. And
wow.
Dogs are just having like World War III beneath my feet.
They've had dinner. They're like, where's the happy? I'm like, not now. yeah.
Podcasting.
75 tracks, I think.
Yeah, it was funny. I had to actually upgrade my version of Cubase because I ran out of tracks.
Wow.
So there was a little bit in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just took a lot of polishing, a lot of tweaking, and I think in the end, the recording part, I think each of us probably spent 2 days recording here in total, but the polishing and getting everything sounding the way we wanted it ended up taking, a good couple of months easily.
Yeah.
The price was right though, so
free, so it was all me.
Mate, that's the biggest thing, especially in this day and age, the equipment's there and you can get it out to quite clearly. You can get it out to an above reasonable level. If you know what you're doing and you take your time with it, and did you record everything clean and then put it through your effects afterwards, or?
So we ended up quad tracking the guitars. Plus, fill guitars and everything like that. So, and it was all record clean, so then we could reamp them as we saw fit. And actually, our mix engineer Mike, I can't pronounce it.
Golf? I don't know. He's from Russia.
Yeah, originally he's
in Melbourne.
He's a Melbourne engineer. EOL Studios, I believe.
EOL's. Studio.
He's the one who actually ended up mixing it, and so he ended up taking our clean guitar tracks as well as what we sent through to him, and he sort of mixed and matched, and he had created his own guitar tones to sort of mix in, and so we ended up getting this really, really nice thick guitar tone for the EP with EP/album. It's really funny because it was only really meant to be an EP, but because the songs are so freaking long, and plus we had the instrumentals at the end, it sort of to boost it out to an album. We're like,
Nice.
See, happy accident.
Yeah. So the recording process was definitely a learning experience too, for me, dealing with the sheer volume of audio tracks and trying to balance everything was just a huge learning experience, because I've recorded things in the past, but they've all just been like, I don't want to say stock metal band, but I mean, it's just like, distorted guitars, bass, vocalists, and drums with a few samples in the background. So it's all really quite simple. Whereas this, you're dealing with so many layers of instruments and orchestration and all kinds of stuff. And so it's a lot more complex. And just finding that balance was the major part of the polishing process.
Well, as soon as you say the word symphonic metal, you've thrown you've thrown elements of an extra 30 instruments in
Yeah,
the background of your music. So there's a whole symphony that you have to sort of work around and try and meld into the music.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that would have been a process.
Sorry.
That would have been a process.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It feels it out though, and create. You know, you're trying to create an atmosphere and an emotion, and it does that in a way, and you just sort of think, you know, it's trying to convey across to the listeners like what we're trying to get out emotionally, and that it helps a lot with that. Like, so we use that quite heavily.
But
Hi.
that's the fun
It's
part, though. I mean,
fine.
it really does. When you're dealing with that side of it, you're getting so far into, you know, it really goes beyond, you know, songwriting into, you know, composer territory, like compositions rather than songs, and like you
Yeah.
you know, not just a song, it's a like
It's a piece.
it's a piece.
Yeah.
It's a weird sort of way of thinking
there is a
about it, and
difference.
it's like not trying to sort of necessarily say one is above the other necessarily, but if you're looking at it in terms of orders of complexity, it adds a lot of complexity to it, because, you know, while it might be on, you know, relatively simple affair to go, all right, how do we make the bass and the two guitars dance around each other and have space? If you're throwing, you know, when you're throwing strings in there and woodwind sections and just like or whatever you're doing in the background with things, you know, for anyone who's watching that may not understand the production side there, you know, like, you know, the guitars and vocals tend to sit kind of in a similar sonic range, whereas bass is a bit, you know, on the lower side of that. But when you're trying to throw in, like, a lot of the time keyboards fit into that range, strings often fit into that range, you know, if you've got any horns in there, those will often fit into that same frequency range, and trying to find space for all of that, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's where I really feel for Mike, and because I'm just like, you know, all of this.
Wait,
So that was Dr. Mike? Is that Dr. Mike that you were talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You see, I want to get him on the channel, man.
Yeah.
We've got to get him on here. We've got to get him on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
I've actually been following him on Facebook for probably like 2 years now.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can just see the guy's a wealth of knowledge, and he's really good with the fact that he likes to share it too. He doesn't just hide it all to himself.
Yeah, and you're like finding someone like that who's a nice guy. You're like, oh yes. So yeah, we were really lucky to get him. We were like, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, everyone's trying to get a piece.
Yeah. Can I just pause for a second? I might just kick these dogs out because they're being
From mauling each other. Anyway,
all right, well, we're back.
sorry.
We're back. So I want to talk a little bit about, because you guys were in the Wacken Metal Battle
Yes.
for 2023. How far through did you guys get for that one?
So we got through to the national finals for that, which was mind blowing.
Yeah, so we were the Queensland finalists, and we have no idea how that happened, but we were like, this is a joke, right? This is a scam email, but no, it's real. So yeah, we were very, very lucky. Very lucky.
And very honored. It was an absolute huge experience to travel down to Sydney and to play the national finals of the Wacken Battle of the Bands and just be on the stage with these other phenomenal acts.
Watching them play, we're like, how do we fit in here?
Was that Deprivation that year?
They're all amazing at their craft.
2023 won that one? Deprivate? Or was it
Deprivate.
Lycanthrope?
No, Lycanthrope was the year before, I think. Deprivation was
Lycanthrope was
2023, yeah.
Yeah.
And they so deserved it. They were phenomenal.
Those I've known the boys in Deprivation for many, many years. And yeah, like even like knew of their reputation prior to seeing them for the first time. And then like it must have been 2012, late 2012, I think, the first time I actually got to see them perform, and I was literally like blown back from the stage with how how much intensity they brought, and it's been it's been like a love story ever since. Like Ben, amazing dude, incredibly talented singer and frontman and performer, and he just brings it. Like he gets up there and it's just uncorked and it's ready. It's like fucking 110% from the start of the show till the end. And like Lachlan is an incredible guitarist. Jesse's an amazing bass player, and it's just the whole band. The whole band is just so talented. And I mean, look, but when you're dealing with something like the fucking Metal Band Festival, like everyone that gets to that point is super talented.
Yeah.
Then no one's fucking around. No one's not bringing their A game to that shit. So it's amazing. It's like it's awesome that you guys won like the Queensland rounds and were able to go on to that national final and be a part of that, because I think that speaks to, you know, what you bring to the stage and what you bring to the performance. You know, and as in addition to that as well, you guys have supported Blind Guardian as well.
That was so cool.
That was amazing. That was a huge experience.
Yeah. I was like,
when they sent us email again, we were like, is this a spam email? They really wanted to. But it was fantastic.
That was a very quick response to that email as well. It's like, you guys are just going to be there? I'm saying yes. Yeah, unless someone's giving birth or dying, you guys are coming, right? So, and that was an amazing experience, and we really tried our best because they were, you know, you can understand things go wrong with shows and they run behind and whatnot. So we tried our absolute best to just be spot on time, really tight, and as engaged as possible on stage. And it was really cool to see. There was like 700 people sitting there sort of nodding their heads. I was like, this means they like us.
Well, because it can be a bit cramped on those stages when you're the opening act as well, right? Like you've got... Like
we had the massive drum set set up at the back, and ours was in the front, and but we still had quite a lot of space, like horizontally. So, you know, no one was hitting me with their headstocks or anything like that.
Which usually happens.
Which happens.
That's what it's normally like, deep but very narrow.
Yes. Yeah. That's cool. We were just stoked to be there. We were like in awe of it all, and everyone's walking around real casual, and we're just like, this is amazing. I mean, yeah, we're totally cool. Yeah. So, anyway,
that's where we
do this all the time.
That's where we talk about like bands having their shit together in terms of not just playing the show, but all of the stuff around that, the setup, the pack down, the getting your shit off the stage as quickly as possible, being ready to go when you need to be ready to go and not running over your set time. Like, it seems like the most basic common sense shit, but so many bands cannot get it through their fucking heads. And in environment, and that's where, like, you know, we say it's going to cost you gigs. It may, you know, you might still get local gigs, but if you get a fucking Blind Guardian support and you run, you know, you want to go 5-10 minutes over your set time and then you're taking forever getting your shit off stage, you are not getting another support.
No, we were stopped right on the second. 25 minutes was our set time. The promoter was standing there with his stopwatch, and he was watching it. And one of our friends who was helping us backstage said, "Oh, he was watching it," and then he stopped right on 25 minutes. And he was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
We want to make it hard. We want to help out. So
yeah, but that's it. I mean, we did.
Important because they've got people to pay, and you know they've got to get on and stuff. So you've got to be on the ball, and everyone needs to know what they're doing. And if there is a problem, you need to sort it out super quick, or just go with it. So
it's just a bit professional.
Yes,
that's it. And look, 9 times out of 10, they may not remember your name because you were so good, but they will definitely remember who you are if you fuck around.
Oh,
and you'd rather do a good job and just be forgotten about. And if your name comes up, oh yeah, I remember those guys. But you know,
yeah, exactly.
It's really, really important. And you know, when you see bands taking their time and you know, just
having a chat,
you're like, man, you're cutting into someone's set time. Like, you know, people put a lot of time and effort and practice and money into this. So move your ass.
And you know,
My
and
time now, damn it.
as the opening band on those shows, you really are like bottom rung. You know,
Oh, yeah.
like it's your needs do not matter on those
No.
shows. If you've got any sort of ego about it, you'll be very, very swiftly corrected. Because I mean, I've been fortunate enough to have a couple of international supports myself,
Wow.
and yeah, it is like, you know, you need to be ready to go. Like you need to be, when they say jump, when it's your turn to do shit, you got to get in and get it done instantly. And if you're not there when you need to be there, like, and it sucks sometimes. Like I can remember the first one we had was Head PE back in like 2011,
Oh, yeah.
and we were like, and that was at Manning Bar. So in the uni campus down in Sydney there.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And you know, this is back when I was with Intentions Arise, and we got the run sheet, and the run sheet said like be there at like fucking midday for load in.
Yeah.
Said load in's at midday. Okay, with
Yeah.
the doors aren't till like 6:30. Yeah, but
Doesn't matter.
load in's at midday. All right. I was like, looked at the rest of the band. I'm like, you guys better all fucking be there. Like, I know some of you guys like to be fashionably late, but we're not having that. Like,
No.
this is the thing. Like, you guys need to fucking be there. And, you know, we were all there at load in, loaded our shit. I think I actually got parked into the loading dock because I moved my car into the loading dock to move my shit inside, went up in the elevator, and then by the time I'd put my shit where it needed to be and come back downstairs, I was parked in by a van that then didn't move. So I was like, oh, fuck, all right, well, I guess that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
But
But
like, you know, we were there and it was, all right, yep, your gear is here, out of the way, in a corner, you know, do your thing. And then we were sitting around for the whole fucking time, waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And that's just what you have to do.
Exactly.
You
I
need
think one gig I bought a pack of Uno cards, and like I think I think it was the
I think it was actually
it was
the
one
Battle
of the
bands. It was
Battle of the Bands for Wacken, and I was like, who wants to play Uno? And like three of the bands just come over and were like, okay, let's play Uno. But, you know, I was like, well, make the most of it. But
That's it.
someone was there, and that's what you should be. So yeah, it's important.
Well, at the end of the day, look, as much as, you know, it's mad getting the opening spot, it's gore, like you're there to do the sound check to make sure everything's working properly there on the night. So and then to provide a bit of entertainment before the big act comes on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? But just be thankful and
I mean,
do the job you're there to do.
Yeah.
And then get excited. Once your job's done, then go.
Bingo. After you've played and all of your shit is out of the way, then you can just enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Fanboy out. No.
Yeah, exactly. And that's pretty much what we did.
Yeah.
Just absolutely
They're like,
fantastic.
hey guys, they were like, hey, and we're like, they're cool. They're cool. But yeah, no, it was a really great experience, and we were totally blown away with having the opportunity to do it. So, and
hopefully more come down the pipeline because.
Well, that's it. Once you've had one, you know, you in the you know, the tour, whoever was booking the tour and everything sees that you guys can do the job, and you know, you get the crowd going and you kind of get the juices flowing in everybody, and they kind of get to cut loose a little bit. Like, that's it. That's the secret. And then if you get that and you make the most of that opportunity, then you likely will get them again. And you know, the music, like the musicianship that you guys bring is clearly, you know, of a high level, which is awesome. And you know, I have no doubt that you guys will get more of those opportunities because you guys absolutely deserve them. Like, straight, it's as simple as that. And I know things aren't always a meritocracy, but you've proven you can do it. You've had that opportunity once before, and you've got that on the resume. So when you reach out again for the next one, or if you put your name in the hat, they're like, oh, okay, they've done it before. Cool. Like we know that these guys have done it once before. They can do it again. Simple as that.
Yeah, and just getting those supports is so important for longevity of your career as well as a musician, because you know you're standing on the shoulder of giants, really.
Yeah.
just as a little parrot on the side, more than anything else.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what happened to that legislation that bill they were bringing in that was supposed to reintroduce the idea of international acts being required to have Australian supports. I have to look up what happened to that bill, but I know that was something that was being talked about again.
And that's fantastic. That's what Australia needs, because a lot of Australian bands just get drowned out by, especially American, but basically international. Coming in, it's, you know, being an Australian band, but with the distances involved and everything like that, it's
a long way.
It's very hard to build a local fan base and just try to get yourself heard. But I think that's pretty much universal for everyone now. So it's not just Australia, but
yeah. But I mean, you know, our markets are very thinly spread over here. That's one of the, you know, one of the more unique challenges, I guess, that we face for any musicians, but especially bands doing the more niche genres like heavy metal based stuff. You know, like if you're in the UK, like cool, like you drive for 7 hours and you've covered the whole country.
Yeah.
You know, here you drive 7 hours and you're in the same state. And you know, you're not even to the next capital city or the next, you know, it's just, it can be disheartening, you know, but when we see bands out there that are doing like the regional tours and putting in the work and those are the bands that are getting success. Those are the bands that are getting notoriety and their names are getting heard. That's what's great to see, you know, like I'm pretty sure, like, I'm pretty sure I saw like Red Hook and Stand Atlantic just announce a regional tour.
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Yeah, well,
I'm sure I saw that.
No, well, Red Hook were meant to be opening for Sum 41.
Oh, really?
Whoa!
At the last show, but then they got shit canned because Sum 41 had to go because the pneumonia thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that's come up now, because that's gonna be insane.
Yeah. Well, especially like Stand Atlantic.
Wow.
I don't think Stand Atlantic are based in Australia anymore. I think I don't know if they've relocated to the US or not.
Oh,
but
I have no idea about that.
I mean, they're a great band, great show, and the fact that they're coming out here and doing a regional tour, and you know, got Red Hook going out there, like that sort of stuff sticks in the minds of the people that get to see it, and it's you know, often the venues will be a bit smaller, so they're a bit more intimate, and it just makes it that much more special for the people that get to be there.
Yeah. I mean, like playing to Blind Guardian versus like when we go out and do just like, I mean, Bendigo, and we did Bendigo, and that was cool because it was still like, you know, a small show, but we were still reaching. You could still like, if you reach out and fist bump people, you're like, like that. They have their own element of what do you call it? Intimacy, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And it just makes it that, you're right, it makes it that extra something then, and it's just completely different. Like, I mean, I could never imagine playing stadium shows and just playing to little tiny people like pegs, but you know, like, you know, you actually want to see people's faces and see them and they're enjoying it, you know, like, and it's really cool when people are really getting into it, and you know, afterwards they come, "Hi, it's fucking rad." You're like, "Yeah, man, it's so good." So, you know? So,
like that's like one of the best bits is getting that interaction with people after the fact and getting to see that impact that you've made on them. And I can't really imagine the idea of, and I don't know, maybe it's just you get used to it over time, but
I think when
you know, playing a show and then just going off stage and then you're not mingling with people, you know, like you not getting that afterwards. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's a validation thing, and I just need that immediate sort of, you know, please say that you loved me, like.
I think
yeah, exactly.
I think by that stage of the game, though, it probably just becomes a bit more of a hindrance. Do you know what I mean? like when if you
like,
could fill a stadium,
because if you could
fill a stadium, can you imagine that many people telling you how great your set was after?
Like, and that's the thing. Like, I realize there's logistical stuff, and I think that's why a lot of bands are doing, you know, more and more bands are offering like VIP meet and greet packages, because it's another way for them to sort of like make money out of touring. which is, you know, it's hard enough for so many artists to
Yeah.
make money out of touring these days. But, you know, it's also a way, I think, for them to create a special experience for the fans, but also like it's got to be special for them too, you know. And you can for some artists, like I think you can tell when an artist is not into it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You know?
Mm.
You're like, oh man, like I just spent $200 for this meet and greet, and they're just like, stand over there and smile. Next.
Well,
You can take a selfie, and I'll be in the background of your selfie.
yeah, meet and greets like that. But we had this awesome meet and greet with In Flames.
It was the best.
That was just absolutely phenomenal. Super nice guys, and they're like, "Oh, how you doing?" You know. And,
Oh my god, that was the best day, best night.
Joe was, you know, losing her shit as we were sort of walking up, and they're like, "Oh, you're the loudest meet and greet we've actually had in Australia." I'm like,
Oh, those guys that's my favorite band of all time, and I was like, oh my god, this is even better than our wedding. This is like the best. And sorry, but I mean they're all really cool, and I don't know if they were, I don't know, it might have just been me, but I got as close as I could, and I was like, they're like, yeah.
and they're all like, you know, just crowd around you. So yeah, it was fantastic.
It was, yeah, but you tell that they were into it, and that made it even more special, you know. And you just like, man, these guys that I've been listening to and idolize, and you know, just they've brought me so much joy into my life and helped me through different things, and they're right there in front of me, and you know, them, you making a connection with them, it means the world to you, you know. So I reckon
100%.
yeah, they've got to make money out of it, but at the same time, you know, if you're just there performing next show, and not getting any sort of because you're giving and not getting anything back, that emotional connection, it just, I reckon it would mean a lot to people. Like even if just, you know, someone down at the pub, you know, playing their guitar, and someone coming up afterwards and saying, hey man, you know, I had a really rough day, but your music really helped me, you know, like that to a musician would be just like make your heart blow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep,
So-
I
precisely.
don't need to get paid. I'll just go home now. I'll just go home now. My work is done.
But like I had, you know, when I was in the US last year. No, sorry, 2023 now. I can't say last year.
No.
But yeah, when I was over there, you know, I went to some shows and I made a point to see, you know, try and see some artists that I've been listening to for literal decades that have never toured Australia. I think, and you know, I went to, like, I got the meet and greet, you know, I went to like meet them and everything, and I'm like, I've come a long fucking way. I'm getting my money's worth on this meet and greet. So I was like I tried to be I was at the back of the line. I waited till I let everyone be in the line in front of me. Yeah. And so I was the last one in it. So I could sort of like try and take up a little bit more time with it. And like, and it was so cool because like they were stoked that, you know, I had traveled like all the way, like literally across the world.
Yeah.
To, you know, to see like their stuff and to see their show and everything. And, you know, it was great because they in turn sort of, I feel like they gave me a little bit of extra time as well because I had come so far and they were a little more like cool about that. And yeah, cool. It's like getting that sort of thing. It's just like from both perspectives, you know, because like obviously, you know, making music and having people give you props after a show is like, I don't think that ever really goes away, that need for that.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's a unique feeling, and I mean it's not why you make the music, it's one of the benefits of making it. You know? When you've poured your heart and soul into something to create something, and someone comes up to you afterwards and said, hey man, I dig it, you're like
and that's where like I think certain, as much as they've created lots of issues, certain social media platforms have allowed artists to get a bit more of that direct interaction with their fans where the artist does run the account themselves rather than having a social media person that runs it, because I know a lot of the time it's a social media person and not the actual artist themselves.
And while the fans understand what the relationship is.
Yes, because obviously
that's a big one
but
too.
that's what I mean. Like, what that can lead to all sorts of parasocial relationships, which are not
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's obviously, like you guys have had a busy couple of years with recording and releasing the album, and doing the Whack and Metal Festival and battle, and supporting Blind Guardian and everything, and you've had quite a lot over the last couple of years there. What is in the pipeline for this year, for 2025? Like, is there much you can tell us about that you've got lined up, or any sort of goals that you've got for this year?
Yeah, so we're working on EP/album 2, depending on how long we write the songs.
Trying to keep them less than 5 minutes.
Try.
Yeah.
So we're currently working on new material. Hopefully we get to start recording by the end of this year. Hopefully earlier, depending on how the writing process goes.
Yeah.
And at the moment, we're just looking at sort of local tours. Obviously, we play as many shows as we can because we love to perform.
We honestly don't care how big or small it is. It's just getting out there and doing it and having fun. But we've got a it's not announced yet, but there is a I don't know if I'm allowed to really say anything, but it's a tour organised sort of around April. So keep an eye out for that one. That one's going to be pretty cool. It's local-ish, so but that's got some really awesome bands that are involved. So that's going to be exciting, and we're just focusing on sort of the first half of the year. This at the moment, and
I'm hoping to get interstate down to Sydney. Like we went down to Melbourne last year. We're going to focus on Sydney, Canberra this year, and also potentially over to Western Australia as well, depending on logistics. And I mean, let's face it, we never do this stuff to make money.
Nah, you'd be a DJ with that. All you need is a USB stick and a computer.
Yeah. If you're looking for something maybe to consider for the back half of the year, I don't know if the lineup is full yet or not, but I would recommend reaching out to the crew at Lead Heavy Promotions. Because they have on the long weekend in October, they've got their, well, I think it's looking at like happening again this year, the Metal to the Max Festival.
Oh, okay.
Which is out at Silverton at the Mad Max 2 compound.
I've seen that.
It was
advertised last year.
It was a hell of a time.
That looks sick.
It was a hell of a time. So just no like affiliation other than the fact that we covered the event and had a good time with it. Like we don't gain anything out of it, but
no, we just want to see it thrive.
We want to see it thrive. And like there was a couple of bands with more of the sort of like power metal, symphonic metal vibes on it last year. Last year. So that was I think it'd be I think you guys would be a pretty good fit on that if that was something that you guys wanted to be involved with. So
we'd love to, because we love playing festivals. Just
festivals,
the fact you get so many
even
bands and so much cross pollination of fan bases. It's just
are way more fun, and it's so it's stressful for everyone, but it's a different kind of stress because you're all in it together. But I love festivals. A lot less.
And I mean, look, there's a few decent kind of music festivals like on this smaller sized events, but there's a few decent ones around Australia that are kind of gaining some traction. Like, what's that one that was in Adelaide?
Oh,
recently,
Froth and Fury. They've announced
Fury,
this year's again. They've already half announced this year's lineup, and it's
Froth and Fury's getting a lot of traction. They're doing really well. Like obviously, if you're talking like up here, I know Moondole Festival goes pretty hard every year. They get some really really big lineups and some good crowds.
Well, we had Hollowfest. Did anyone see how Hollowfest went this year? Or does that happen?
Hollowfest was late last year. I think I didn't get out to it. But
okay,
playing on
not even that.
Yeah, we filled in for another band who was one of their members was crook. So
We had to
they
fill in less than, I think it was like less than 48 hours. We got a phone call. We're like, yes.
yes, good. that was a lot of fun. That one was great. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean those boys in We the Hollow, like they do a lot of work to support the scene as well. So it's
Yeah.
nice when people shows up to support them.
They actually we did our first gig with them at Woolly Mammoth, I think.
Oh,
So yeah, we're pretty, we're
we
mates.
know them well.
Yeah, we know them well. Yeah, they're
It's good.
good guys. They're really good guys.
Well,
so.
you know what you got to do for the next album or EP, right? You got to get a guest spot.
Yeah,
Get a
Got to
feature on
get a
there.
feature on there.
I keep
Yeah.
hassling them. I'm like, come on, guys, what are we doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Make
It's where
it
it's at
happen.
now. It's where it's at now. Especially if you're recording in house.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Nah,
Where it's at.
they're very talented and they're doing really well, and like all the power to them because they put in the hard work and
They work really hard,
but their sound is just getting better and better and better. And pretty sure Reese's hair is longer than mine now, so I've lost that competition, but but
Seems to be the going thing at the moment. Everyone's just like, I've noticed probably this year. I actually went out on Friday night and I caught up with a punk band that I haven't seen in playing over a year, and it's not a curve like this. Everyone's just going in straight lines like that. Like in a year's time, everyone's just going. Music's so good at the moment.
Yeah.
It's great to see though, because you see these people and they're so talented and they work so hard, and when they get up there, you just like the boys, We the Hollow, they supported Fear Factor and Machine Head.
Yeah.
We were like,
That's what you want, man. That's what all the hard work goes for, eh?
yeah,
And
like,
and this is the thing. Like it's. I mean, it's always great to see bands doing well and succeeding that deserve it. But I mean, this is the thing that we talk about all the time as well. Is like the quality increasing means that you got to step your game up.
Oh yeah.
And being a good band that plays good songs is not enough.
no,
Unless you are in that top 1%, you are being a good band that plays good songs alone is not enough. You need a hook to make yourselves memorable. Whether you want to describe it as a gimmick or not, you need to find a way to stand out to people, and
so true.
that's the challenging part these days. Is because like I can go and see, I could go out in any given week. I could go and see 1,000 good bands playing shows.
Yeah.
How are you going to stick in my mind? Is the important
Oh,
thing.
mate, the band I went out and saw on Friday, they're called Fist. They're a punk band. They're awesome as hell. They're such cool dudes. But the bass player, Rowan's come walking out, and he's got this bright green VB racing jacket on, which I've fallen in love with and I'm trying to find at the moment. Then Josh, the guitarist / singer, has come out and he's got a weed leaf tracksuit on.
They were going for the green thing.
Yeah, but mate, like I'm just like, you got to do something that's just going to make you stand out. They're funny dudes, and they fit right into that punk thing, and it's just, I love it. It was great.
Ultimately, you got to remember, being a musician. Sure, you play your instrument, you write good songs, but you're there to perform. You're there to entertain.
Yeah.
So having that element as well as the entertainment value, not just blasting with 16 billion BPM double kick, and
He says in a Fear Factory shirt.
nothing wrong with that, but having the actual entertainment of putting on a stage show, putting on a visual feast for the people to watch, that's so important as well. And also just being in a band these days, writing good music and stuff, it's the business side which I think a lot of bands just fail at. Promotion, the everything that happens in the background. There's just so much more to being in a band than getting up and playing cool songs. I mean, that's the best part about it. That's why we do it. But getting all the business side that's the stuff that really sucks, but it's really important.
Yeah, it is. And there's as much as we don't like that it's a content game these days.
Oh my God.
exactly.
It's, but having that's not even. I mean, that's not even really what you're talking about on that front, right? It's the business, like you say, the business side. It's having that aspect down, doing the networking and making the connections, and just being ready, doing the work so that when the opportunities come your way, you're ready to jump on them.
Exactly.
Because that's what they say, right? Like, it takes 10 years to be an overnight success.
Yeah.
You got to have if you put the work in the background, that's what they call making opportunities for yourself. Because if you're not ready, if you don't have everything ready to go the second that it needs to be ready, when an opportunity comes along, you're gonna miss out because you'll either say, "Oh, I would do it, but I need to put X, Y, Z together first," or
Next.
it's
Yep.
that's
It's
it.
just like even simple things like have your passports in order. If you have the thought and process of I want to play internationally,
Yeah.
do you have a passport? What happens if you got a phone call tomorrow that says we had band pulled out and we need you on a plane, right? Like we're going to pay for your ticket. You're going to be on there now. Like it's very hypothetical, but
It could happen.
Yeah.
It's possible. Yeah, exactly. In a row.
Yeah.
Or like, and it's not even that too. It's not even like that kind of thing. It's like, okay, well,
no.
New Zealand's not that far away.
Yeah, exactly.
You may not need a visa, but you still need your passport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean,
Like that's an opportunity.
Mm.
It's only I don't know how far it is to Japan. I think it's like 9 hours or something like that. It's doable, and it's not that expensive.
Well,
Comparatively.
compared to over.
Compared to traveling like Europe or the US or something, it's
That's
like,
it.
Yeah.
You never know that the world's changing. A Japanese billionaire might be cruising around on Spotify one night, get real drunk, and go, "I want to see this band. I'm going to pay for him to come over right now."
Yeah.
And want it right there. And then you're going to have to say no because you don't have a passport.
Yeah.
Be like, can you organise my passport? I'll be there on Tuesday.
Make some phone calls for me.
Well,
I'm working on it right now.
all right. Well, we might wrap the podcast up there. Thank you guys so much for chatting with us today. We really, really appreciate that. What's the best platform for people to follow what you guys are doing?
So probably on Facebook, Insta.
We're pretty much spread across all of the social media, so we keep those up to date as much as possible. Plus, we have our website, Mezmik.com as well.
Mm-hmm.
We probably need to keep that more up to date than it is, but we're working on it.
People are working on it right now.
Yeah, we've got people.
Cool. Well, we will have links to all those down in the description. So if people want to go and follow you guys, they can do all that. We'll have links to everything down there. But yep, so we're going to wrap the podcast up there. If you remember, we will have a quick question quarter and get in the bin coming with these guys this weekend. So make sure you check back in the channel there. We got tons of reactions and rocking around the world coming up and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you guys keep tracking on that. Thank you very, very much to Chris and Jolene for chatting with us today. It's been amazing. I cannot wait to see what you guys get up to this year. I'm sure you guys are going to have a blast with it. Thank you, everybody, for watching today's episode. Remember, the world's pretty rough. Try and be kind to each other. We know you guys are all pretty cool, but just take care of each other. We all need it.
Breathe.
Thank you so much for watching. I have been Raff. This has been Kyle, aka the Beer Buddy. They are Chris and Jolene from Mezmik. You guys have been amazing. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We really hope you had a good time. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell down there. It helps the channel grow. We are still a fairly young channel and we like to try and grow our audience all over the world. We do also, for those of you who are interested, have a Patreon. It's just a couple of bucks a month. At the moment, you get all the videos early and ad-free, but we are working on ways to increase the value of that and make it a bit more enticing. So don't forget to keep an eye out and check back on what's going on over there. Other than that, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.